Hi, this is KV, and this is the moon phase report for Virgo. And I apologize if sounds start happening. It's really loud around here where it's normally peaceful. Even when I woke up, I was like, gosh, I can hear the highway, and that's miles and miles away. So I don't know why it was so loud. And now someone's over there cutting wood, and he stopped for a minute, but I was like, oh no, chainsaw. And then my dog also was out playing with friends when I got here, so she just showed up all panting and out of breath, and you might be hearing a little bit of that. Right now she's digging a spot for her to be cool. She's like, I know where you are. She just came running up the creek bed. Okay, anyway, so this new moon is in your sign. I can't believe I didn't do yours first. I'm so sorry. So this is awesome. This is where you're going to have kind of like this reboot, rebirth kind of thing. And this is what happens when your birthday time comes anyway. You have your solar return, and the looks of that chart is going to be how your year is going to be. So this is really cool. This is where you can really expect that you're going to be coming more into yourself, and really, you know, with this whole thing with our past falling away, you're really going to be seeing, like, there may be discomfort right now that is going to reach a culmination point, and then it's going to go into a smoother, more relaxed, more comfortable space. So if things are coming up, they will tend to be in relationship with others. So there's something there that's needing to be, like, maybe you've been magnetizing this same type of person and over, and you're just really waking up to, you know, I need to change something about myself. You know, there's something where I am attracting this, and because that's ultimately what that stuff always is. You know, like maybe you always heard this certain kind of message. Maybe you know, learned something growing up that this is how relationships go, this is how it goes, and maybe it's not really matching up with this kind of higher vibrating way that we're all longing to be living. So if anything is discomfort, especially like, that's that. So now you just feel like I live in a city with all the city sounds. But so, and you never hear those kind of sounds out here either. That's where I love, there's no machine sounds. That drives me crazy. Even now I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Let's see. Okay, so this is a, you know, a really kind of a time of like being like, you know, I don't want to be carrying these kind of patterns around anymore. I don't want to be, you know, because if you really do stop and take a look, you're going to see there's really distinct patterns of similarity in all the things that are uncomfortable in your life right now. And there is energy pushing you to kind of move to more introspective spaces where you are coming, where you're realizing and having like the aha moments about things of like, oh my gosh, like you'll just get things like that where you're like, gosh, that's where that started, that's where that came from. At the same time, there's so much potential for you to really, that, you know what, this is too, something with this can be like communication based. So it can be something where you've been communicating. A lot of people are having it this time, but because this is a key to it, you know, like nonviolent communications, or learning how to communicate with people so that you really get what you want. Instead of always pushing away what you want. Because so often, like when we're hurt or when we don't understand something, we tend to just lash at people, and we want them to be like, oh, what's wrong? You know, I'm sorry that I've hurt you this way, you know. But what ends up happening is then you push their buttons, so then they react, and then it's like, it's an all-out fight, and then you don't want anything to do with them, and you're done with them. So there can be something with that is changing in you from the deepest, you know, insides, that's going to have other things vibrating out, and really kind of bringing in this more like harmonious relationships with others. And definitely some may be falling away, that's kind of part of it, but you have to honor that, you know. You don't have to be friends with somebody just because they need you to be their friend. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like we have to, it's so important that we stay in abundance, in happiness, in joy, in I am safe, in life is good. And having friends too that are, you know, too much like in the victim mode, or can't see what they're doing, and that they're manifesting these things, but they won't take responsibility, because the taking responsibility is so huge now. You know, I always kind of say that the more vulnerable you can be, you know, even like any problem you have with another person, the more you can admit that that relates to you and to look deeper in that, the easier the time you're going to have, in these changing times right now. Because it's really about being just vulnerable, honest, open, and wanting to, not being like putting up your front and getting all defensive and who do you think you are? You know, that one is how it used to be. That's how we dealt with things. We instantly got defensive and started fights, and then we were done with them. So then we've had all these fragmented cords attached to us. So that's something too, like this could be like a cord releasing time, of really seeing who is still sucking your energy dry. Because it goes both ways too. Like when they're thinking about you, they're affecting their energy field, and they're affecting your energy field. So it's just so great if we can just like make peace with everyone, just like with the, you know, alcoholism and the what's that thing? In the Course of Miracles, there's these things you have to do. I don't know. But something with like making amends with people and making the peace, and even if they can't hear you and they still want to fight, you just at least coming forward and being like, you know what, I apologize for how I treated you. I was actually just reading this email that makes me think of this person was so happy she moved through this really big block with an ex-partner, and something just shifted in her where she was able to, instead of being so angry of how she was hurt and how it messed things up and hurt the kids and all this stuff, she was just like putting love into it and seeing, you know, wishing him well, and, you know, loving him and sending him love. And, you know, that's what I say to people when we have these problems with people. We need to, we need to wish them love. We need to wish them good things. You know, it's the same with like, it's really important that like when other people are having success, maybe you're in a one step back kind of thing. You know how we go 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But maybe you're in a period where you're not moving, or you're not being seen, or things aren't working, and then other people are like, oh my gosh, guess what happened? I da-da-da. You know, and so often we tend to go, oh, cool. I'm so happy for you. But there's this inner thing that's like, I want that. I'm jealous that you have that. So if we can just kind of move to that space of, awesome, I'm so happy for you. And I've had to learn that one, because I have this competitive thing where I don't like competition. So if there's any competition, I just pull out and like have nothing to do with it. Because I just don't like that. I don't like that energy that it brings into me, because it does feel so ego-based. You know, it feels like I want to win. I want to be best. You know, anything that's put out there like that, where one is the best and one is a loser, is a wrong equation in the new age of Aquarius, which does like, look at how much that affects. Look at all sports stuff, and everything is about mine is better and yours is not, and I'm the winner and you're a loser. I'm on the winning team, you're on the losing team. So all these things are just so negative based. I don't know why. I mean, everything is kind of out of balance anyway, so you could see how all these things were manifested into the world. But you know, any time where one person is being put down, or one is being raised at the expense of another being put down, is not a proper equation. You know, we're really moving into this like, everybody's awesome, everybody's a winner. So that's something that you need to think about right now, because this is in a really big factor of your relationships with others, and there's something that's just needing an upgrade, and there's something, you know, there's also really the need for you to be actually like joining with people more, and something about, and that's, oh yeah, okay, so cool, that would be something like group related too. So it can't even be like you maybe thinking you had to always do it alone and you can't really come together with others, and there's a factor where, you know, maybe you've kind of known you do better when you're in groups, or you do better when you're coming together to share with others and hear their similar stories, but maybe there's been a private part of you that's just wanted to hermit, and I don't have time for that, and because there is the element of you not being able to clearly see that this is or could be a really beneficial thing for you. So it could be now where you're just really like seeing the benefits of group and group mentality and coming together with others, and even like just being with your friends more. Like it feels so difficult to shift from hermit to socialite. And you don't even have to be as extreme as those categories, but you know, once you get really comfortable in a space, it does seem like it's kind of hard to move to the next one. But if you can just like, or at least right now, I don't think it's going to be that difficult, because there's things awakening you saying, I need more people in my life. I need to be with my friends more. I need to share more with them, and talk more on the phone with them. You know, I've gone through like years of talking to nobody on the phone. Just being like, I can't give like that anymore. And I just recently moved into a phase of, I'm always talking on the phone to all these women now. It's like every day, hours. There's like this huge connection thing that I've made into this sisterhood space, and it's so awesome. You know, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it took me so long to, you know, awaken to this again, because that's how I used to be. But then I just went into such a huge, like, decade-long hermit apprenticeship. And I mean, that's how I've created all the things I'm putting out there, and that's how I've, you know, gained a lot of the confidence in my abilities. So it's all good, but I was always like, how do I shift into the social again? How do I shift into, and it's really just bit by bit. You open to one person, you get together, it feels so good, you know, that then you're like, let's do this all the time, and then through that you meet somebody else, and you know, through that somebody else, and then all of a sudden you're totally busy and never have a alone time. You don't have to go that extreme, of course, but there is this element of you needing to give more to your peoples. There's also something too with, there's all these shifts going on, you know, so there's this, one of them is about with how you communicate and how that relates to something that is a big part of what you're here to do. So that's that thing that maybe it's about, you know, being more honoring in communications and not just shutting someone down and being done with them. Really kind of, and it makes me think of this Virgo girl. I got really mad about this thing. I got hurt about this other thing that hurt my feelings, and it really brought all this stuff out, and I was bawling like those belly cries, and it was relating to how selfish people can be with like money and all me and it's only me, and I was crying because I was so sad that there's this other way to do it with integrity, to do it with love, where it's this other amazing abundant thing, but so many people are locked into this money and like, me, I just want to take care of myself, fuck you all, me, you know, and it's like, ugh, that energy is so painful, and like, why are people like that? And I was so emotional over it, and I ended up like saying these things to this friend that we're just speaking from my hurt, you know, and like, I was just disappointed at how this thing went down, and like, and almost like starting to like blame other people. If this person wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't be in this, and da 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 da. And I was in such a weird space, and I knew it was bringing up like these things I needed to let go of. So I knew that all this like irrational baby acting on my part was, you know, something I was releasing too. But she's a Virgo, and what I loved is that she didn't respond to any of the emails. You know, she finally like called and was so like, what's going on, baby, you know, and like, and instantly her coming at me like that, I was like, I'm sorry I lashed at you, and I was just so hurt by this, da da da. But it was so cool, like, she, you know, a lot of times when we do get worked up or angry, if somebody can just come at us from that neutral ground of like understanding that there's more to this, not taking it personally, you know, if they can come at you like that, it completely dissipated all the charge that I was feeling because I wasn't being communicated with, and I wasn't hearing feedback, and I wasn't having anybody answer my little baby bitch fit thing, you know. But like the moment she did come at me and just came at me like a friend, because she could have been like, dude, what is up with you? You know, she could have come at me defensive and we would have had this whole thing, because then I would have been like, whoa, da da da. Although I don't know, I back down a lot. I love to back down. But especially when someone's coming at me, or I've learned to do that. I didn't used to. But so yeah, so it's like she kind of healed the process for us too. move through this, let it go, and let it be a sweet release instead of a really painful release that would have stuck with me for days, because then I would feel bad that I hurt my friend, you know. So you might be the key player in this kind of stuff that's going on around you. So if there is this confrontation or friction going on around you, just, you know, be aware of the communication key to this all, and how we talk to people. And, you know, even think, I've been saying these on a couple of them, think about how you wish somebody would talk to you and try to do that with them, you know. And sometimes there are just people, like, I actually have a friend I can think of now who I'm always the one who's like, I'm always backing down, I'm always like putting my tail between my legs and letting her win and letting her be right and letting her always be the best. And like, what I've noticed is that it's almost like she wants to fight, because that never works, you know. Then she's still like, well, da 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 da, and then finally I just have to walk away, because it's like, okay, I've done everything to make this a clear slate. I hear you, I understand what you're saying, you know, I use all the words, I do all the stuff, but she still just wants to fight, you know. And like, I don't have any other friends like that, so it's happened so much that I do kind of go, whoa, I can't do this, you know. I can't have it where it be. I always have to pull back and be so submissive, but that doesn't even awaken you to also joining in that same space. But still, like, no, I need to fight, I need to spew my shit, I need to da-da-da-da, you know. So it's like, that's that kind of thing. I tell you, if you have that with people, you have to let them go until they finally awaken to what they're doing. What is that big crazy thing? Hi. That's something where you just kind of have to honor your own space. And we come to these things. So I would say I probably used to be somebody like that, who was like, I still just had to bitch to the end, you know? Like, there was nothing you could say to satisfy me. So, and people, as they're growing and evolving and waking up, can still be in that space of needing to honor that angry. Or not honor, hold that angry. And like, I'm going to be angry until da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, and instead of being like, oh, thank God you're coming at me from a neutral position, so now I can let this go and I can apologize. I think, too, some people can't ever apologize, so they have to hold the angry. So whatever this is, you have to honor you, and you have to honor how other people make you feel. And if you're having these things with people where it is just like friction that never gets solved, you have to let it go till they gain a couple more years in life and awaken to, wow, look at what that does. Like, that's why we're in war all over the place. You know, that's why we have this nonstop conflict and stuff everywhere, because people will not back down, because they're like, I'm right, and that's that. Like, right makes might. Might makes right, whatever that thing is. I don't even really know what that means, but I feel like that's what that is, where I'm like, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. That's the patriarch, you know, that's not the matriarch, that's not the feminine, that's not the nurturing and caring and understanding where people are coming from. So if you do have to let anybody go, because that's a great possibility now, just know they might come back in a couple years when they finally get on your level, or vice versa. They might be letting you go until you get on their level. So just kind of understand that that's kind of going on right now. But this is really a great new moon for you to really, like, put it out there how you want to be seen, you know, and really be like, this is who I am. I'm not going to be, you know, you can't walk all over me anymore, or I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be a doormat, or I'm not going to be domineering, or I'm not going to, you know, whatever. You can kind of really kind of use this new moon to be like, I love to cooperate. I am being seen for the truth of who I am inside. I am starting over and starting fresh and going to do it right this time. I am learning from my past mistakes. I am learning from friction in my life. I am bringing peace into all relationships. I am communicating in a way that is honoring of all parties. And because of that, we all win. So things like that. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to stop there. You have a beautiful new moon, and I will see you in 2 weeks with the full moon. It's going to be in Pisces, so we're going to be more focused in 2 weeks about these other people in your life. There's still going to be things shifting, so even if somebody does fall away now, they might be back in a couple weeks. You know, we have to look at ourselves a lot with this friction stuff, and Many times, you know, it can be even you're learning from them because it's something you used to have that maybe is gone, but it even more reinforces how grateful you are that it is gone. You can see like, wow, that's how I treated people. You know, maybe that'll even open you to sending letters or emails to people that you've hurt in the past. You know, it could be something like that where it's like, gosh, I really need to make amends with people because of what this person just did to me. So, you have a beautiful new moon. I will see you in 2 weeks.